morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Stuart. Beautiful day. Wait for Chuck to get up here and we'll get started. We're going to do Spirit is in this place. Sing along if you know it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Unity of Stuart. Welcome, welcome. So glad you're here. Thank you. It's good to be back. It's good to be here with you. And we'll say a little bit more about that in a little while. But I just want to welcome everybody who's here in the room and everybody who is online and everybody on YouTube and Facebook. So usually on YouTube is Ellen and Pam and Phil and Jess. And if you're on YouTube and you'd like me to say hi to you like you were in Romper Room, I'd be happy to do that. Just let me know you're on YouTube, and I'd be happy to do that. So who is on Facebook this morning? As usual, Jen is on Facebook while she's here in person. Delia, good morning, Delia. Good to have you here. We have Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, how's it going? I will email you back, I promise. And hey, Edward, good to see you. Glad you're here. Maureen. And Nikki and Edward are both watching. And I saw somebody earlier. I saw Kathy on here somewhere, but now is gone. Well, if you're still here, Kathy, good to see you. Good morning. So I have some gratitude I want to share this morning before we get really rolling. I want to say thank you to Reverend Elizabeth Longo and Reverend Vernell Nelson and Reverend Julia Baginski for being here and blessing you with their love and wisdom while I was gone. I want to say thank you to Tony Scavone, who installed the new bricks on our walkway. Those of you who purchased a brick for our fundraiser, you can see those bricks if you walk out on our path to the meditation garden. And if you're wondering how you get a brick in our walkway, all you have to do is look at this brochure in the seat backs and in the foyer, and you can have a brick in memory or in celebration of someone that you love. And finally, I invite you to join me in thanking our extraordinary board president, Linda Hart, for being the platform for 3 of the weeks that I was gone, and to Tom Taylor for stepping in and being a platform extraordinaire. I'd also like to thank our admin, Mae Johnson, for being in the sanctuary to help keep us all on track. And Roberta for being Roberta and doing what she does to hold the office together while I was gone. You know, somebody said to me this morning, everything happened when you weren't here. It all happened. It all went swimmingly and smoothly. And I hope that's the case for you and for those who are watching. And I want to thank all of you all for showing up in love while I went apart for a while. I come back to you with renewed energy, with renewed vision, and renewed love. So I'm really delighted to be back in and amongst you. As always, we have with us the Joyful Noise Band and Choir. And today, our special music features our choir. And what's the word I want to use? I was pressed into service this morning, so I'll be joining the choir this morning on their song. So yeah. So welcome to any first-timers who are present in the sanctuary and online. If you're in the sanctuary for the first time this morning, I invite you, if you'd like to, be recognized to raise your hand so Linda can come and bring you a welcome packet. Anybody here for the first time who would like to receive a welcome packet? Very good. Good. Welcome. Glad you're here. And that's Linda Hart, our board president, who is handing out welcome packets. And if you take that welcome packet, there's a lot of things in that welcome packet, and there's a form in there that if you fill it out and take it out to the podium, and Sonia will be happy to give you a gift, and it will put you on our weekly e-newsletter, and there's other information in there about Unity of Stuart and about our larger movement. And there's also a prayer request intention form in there. If you'd like to put a prayer into our prayer box out in the foyer, we would be delighted to send it off to our prayer chaplains and have them pray over it. And then it goes out to our mothership in Kansas City, Silent Unity, and they pray over it there as well. If you are a first-timer on YouTube or Facebook and you would like to get a welcome packet, please email May at admin@unityofstuart.org, and she would be happy to send you a welcome packet. There's coffee, cookies, donuts in the kitchen, and I'm told there'll be some other surprise that Linda's going to talk about in a little while, and so please join us after service. Perhaps most importantly, what I'd like you to know, what we'd all like you to know, is that Unity is a welcoming, affirming, practical place, practical path of spirituality. Everyone is welcome here, and not only that, everyone is celebrated here. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. So we do have our announcements as usual. We have prayer chaplains on duty today. And who is that prayer chaplain? Who is on duty today? And Roberta. Not only is she in the choir, not only does she work in the office, and she's also a prayer chaplain. And you'll hear her name a little bit later as well. She does a lot. And Roberta will be here in the sanctuary after service to pray with you. If you'd like some personal prayer, of course, our prayer chaplains listen in love and compassion and hold your prayer in the highest confidence. So thank you. Thank you, Roberta, for showing up and doing that. If you're online and you'd like to send us a prayer, please do that at prayer@unityofstuart.org, or you can call the Silent Unity prayer line with the number right there. As always, Cheryl Roby, spiritual teacher and Reiki master, is on Facebook every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., and she does a meditation live on Facebook. So if you'd like to be involved in that and get a bit of centering in the middle of the week, you can join Cheryl on Facebook. As always, we have service opportunities, and if you come into the kitchen after service, you'll see that we have some information about the service teams. And today I want to highlight, as we have been, a service opportunity for the welcome team member. As you walk in, you saw Sonia at the podium. And so if you would like to be that person who welcomes in, and just as that first smiling face, besides Ricky usually at the door, maybe it's the second smiling face you see, and please look for more information in the kitchen after service. Well, excited to announce that after taking the summer off, Connected Souls is coming back on Wednesday, September 28th for our, what we used to call Spiritual Coffee House. And for this time, Donna is taking some time off in September. And so it'll be what are we calling it, the Terrific Threesome? And so it'll be Doreen and Don and Jen who will be blessing us with music on September 28th. Of course, I'll be here, and I do what I do. Usually I lead a bit of a discussion in between sets. So that's September 28th. And that's it for this portion of announcements. As you know, we do a second section of announcements towards the end of the service. I invite you to take a deep breath with me as I invite you to join me in dedicating our service today, that knowing, even in the midst of turmoil, chaos, and sometimes tragedy, amazing grace is always available to us, lifting us up and comforting us. And let's silence our cell phones. Thank you for that grace of ringing to remind me of that. And our daily word today is grace. And our affirmation is, I am uplifted by divine grace. I am uplifted by divine grace. If during an unfortunate circumstance I received unexpected help that brought peace and relief, then I have known divine grace. Grace does not favor one individual over another. It is an unconditional expression of divine love. Grace does not depend on what I do or do not do. It is always available to me. I do not have to earn the gift of grace. It is given freely. I feel divine grace upon me as love and acceptance. I experience grace when I receive a new insight, or the answer to a difficult challenge, or the right and perfect people appearing in my life just when I need them. I am blessed in countless ways, and I am thankful for divine grace. And let's take a deep breath together. As we settle into this holy space, I invite you to just be open, receptive, aware of the loving energy of grace that is in this space. This loving energy of grace comes through each one of us and permeates this room with our prayers, our love, our compassion. So I invite you to take a deep breath and to feel into that grace that is right here and right now, within us and all around us. Open to grace. We are uplifted by divine grace. And so it is. Amen. Now, as we do, I invite you to affirm our affirmation with me together. I am uplifted by divine grace. And take that deep breath and anchor this affirmation in as deeply as you are able. As we affirm one more time together, I am uplifted by divine grace. And so it is. Amen. And now let us prepare for prayerful meditation by singing the prayer of St. Francis. And we breathe deeply, consciously. And I invite you into 3 of those deep, conscious breaths or more. Dropping our shoulders, relaxing our bodies as fully as we are able. Setting down any baggage that we may have come in with today. And opening, being receptive to the gifts of Spirit that are here for you today. Knowing that the power and the presence of Spirit is right here, right now. We dive into prayerful meditation. And as we do, I invite you to allow the words you hear to be the words of your own mind and heart. I am the perfect expression of divine love. I am the perfect expression of divine love. And knowing this, I go where I am guided. And following Spirit, I know that as I am guided, everything opens up and I am in the flow. Automatically, effortlessly. Even though I wanted to go the other way, I follow Spirit, allowing that wisdom, that love, and that grace to guide me. My way is open and wide and bright and perfect for me. I move with the power of Spirit. I am graced. I am graced and blessed. And as I get quiet, I feel that vibration in and through me, that vibration of love and grace and wholeness. It's in this knowing that my body, my thoughts, my emotions align with perfect peace. This is divine grace. So today I choose to be mindful of what Spirit would have me do, what Spirit would have me say, what Spirit would have me be. Knowing that I am an expression of the divine in every moment. Knowing that the way of Spirit is love, and love is what I am. Love is at the forefront of my life. I am blessed and in love always. As an expression of the divine, I am blessed, I am guided, and I am in love. In the quiet. And as we have co-created this holy space, I invite us to bring into our awareness all of those who are on our prayer list here at Unity of Stuart, and all of those that we hold in our hearts and minds this morning. And if it moves you to do so, speak out those names and those situations out into this holy space. And releasing our prayers and our loved ones and any situation into the care and keeping of the One. I invite you to join me in praying this in the name, in the nature, in the light, and in the love of the indwelling Christ consciousness. And so it is. Amen.
Give me this day my daily bread. Forgive me all my trespasses. Lead me not into dismay, but let me pray upon the highest hill. Let me know the beauty of thy will. From it let me not stray, but deliver me from negativity. Baptize me in your majesty. Christen me with the love that is free. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. When I realize that we are one, and only with these eyes do I see
Okay, Jerry, make sure my mic is off, yeah?
No. Oh, the other one.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome Reverend Yu to the stage.
Don't be nervous. Just take a deep breath.
She has a good voice.
She sings beautifully.
She does. She has a beautiful voice. Yes.
Let's sing, everybody.
Let's see.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already passed. And grace that brought me safe thus far to freedom that will last. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, band. Thank you, choir. That was a surprise to me this morning. A good surprise. Oh, and I also want to invite you, as we are, our choir ranks are a bit low. If you would like to sing in our choir, please see any one of us, or you can sign up in the foyer to raise your voice in song. So this month we're going to explore the acts of God. And by acts of God, I don't mean hurricanes or floods or chaos or any other disaster that we can think of. Rather, I mean the acts of God being A, for amazing grace, of course, which we begin with. C, for compassion. T, for to boldly go forth. And S, for sacred service. So that's what our month of September is going to look like. So when we talk about acts of God, we talk about each of these things that I just mentioned are acts of faith. To grab onto amazing grace and what that means in our lives, to amplify compassion in our lives, and then to boldly go forth into what is ours to do as we are guided by Spirit, and then what does sacred service mean in our world. So when we embrace these things, when we realize each of these things, our life transforms, and we get to experience greater wholeness, greater freedom, greater love, greater everything, no matter what is going on around us. Greater peace, no matter what is going on around us. Now, you know that I was on a mini sabbatical. I was gone for the month of August. And even though I was 98% off of social media, and of course not watching the news, as I don't, I couldn't help but know what was going on in the world. What is going on in... Where are all the floods happening right now? Mississippi? Where else? Pakistan, right? Knowing where there are fires, where there are Mississippi, where there's no water, right? If we just look at that, if we just look at what we are served on social media and served in the news, we can be in despair all the time. We can think that our world is going to hell in a handbasket and we're on the slippery slope, yes? Right, and then it might seem to you, as it does sometimes seem to me, that there's no way out. How can we think about a world that is peaceful and calm, that has equity and equality, and where people are kind to each other, and we all work together for a common good? When we are just faced with everything that we are bombarded with, it's hard to get there, yes? So what we're about today is talking about how do we stay centered? How do we stay balanced? How do we stay hopeful and optimistic? By delving into spiritual practice, by delving into prayerful meditation, by reading, by being here in community, by being reminded what's the real truth, right? There's the relative truth, and there is the truth that we know, that the power and the presence of Spirit is here right now all the time. And what is ours to do is to be a conduit of that in the world, no matter what. No matter what. Doesn't mean we don't move our feet. And we come from that, we move our feet from that place of holiness, of wholeness, of love, and of grace. So we all just sang one of the most recognizable hymns I saw all y'all singing ever composed. Now, you may know the background of this song, and I'm going to share it with you. That song was written in the mid-1700s by a man named John Newton. And as a young man, Newton served as a mate on a ship that was bringing people to be enslaved. And he eventually became a captain. He worked on that ship for many years and eventually became a captain. And what happened in John Newton's life, the history tells us it was 1748, his ship was in a terrible storm and it really went down. And at one point, he and whoever else was on the deck had to lash themselves to the mast in order not to be swept overboard. And he had a transformation in that time. He saw his life flash before his eyes, and he did not like what he saw. So when he got to port, he realized that he could no longer live the life that he had been living. And from that moment on, he walked a new path. He became a fierce abolitionist, and he inspired others to fight passionately to end slave trade. And of course, he wrote this hymn, Amazing Grace. So the first line, as we know, the original traditional first line is, Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. And of course, you heard us sing, saved a soul like me. We here at Unity changed the word because what we know, what we teach, what I know is I never want to couple talking about myself with anything less than positivity. Never want to say I am a wretch. Right? So saved a soul like me. Negative words are counterproductive to what we want to manifest in our life. Thank you, Siri. So, this whole basis of our teaching is that we are whole, complete, and perfect expressions of Spirit right here and right now. So when we sing songs like this, we try to make them affirmations rather than this kind of thing. Yeah. But as I was thinking about this song and going deeper into the concept of it, even though we reject the idea of being called a wretch, I wonder how many of us have felt like wretches in our lives. Right? I wonder how many of us, that's rhetorical, nobody has to answer it or raise their hand. But how many of us at some point in our life have felt horrible about something that happened to us, about a situation in our lives, about something that we may have done or said, right? So we have in our lives had that feeling perhaps. I know I'm not the only one. And at the level of humanity, at the level of personality, John Newton was a wretch. He could look at him and say he's a horrible person. He did wretched things to fellow human beings. He took beautiful, powerful, free people, and he helped to enslave them. That was a wretched act. And yet, just like us, John Newton was an integral part of divine love. He is a part of divine love. We all are in every single moment, whether we know it or not. And when he was awakened by that storm, by his fear, by his looking back at how he was living, he was enveloped in grace. Grace was immediately available to him, no matter what he had done in the past. And that's what I want us to take away this morning. That's what I invite us into this morning. Grace is always available to us. We swim in an ocean of love, even especially when we're not aware of it. We swim in an ocean of love in every single moment. I know you feel it when you walk into this room. I know you feel that vibration when you walk into this room. And we swim in this ocean of love, and we have to do nothing to deserve it. We don't have to change one thing about us to deserve it. Even when John Newton was helping to enslave people, he was still swimming in an ocean of love, although he did not know it. We don't have to work for it. We don't have to develop it. We don't have to build up to it. We don't have to cultivate it. It is right here and right now. So, I don't know about you, but I grew up Catholic, and I always had a kind of a amorphous relationship with what grace is, right? So, in traditional Christian theology, grace is the spontaneous, unmerited gift of the divine favor in the salvation of sinners, and the divine influence operating in individuals for their regeneration and sanctification. So this is something that is given to us from some space, some being outside of us in the Catholic tradition, right? So I'm not the only one who has heard the phrase, "There, but for the grace of God, go I." So what does that mean? Gosh, I really don't like that phrase, because that phrase reminds me that a lot of the world think that there's a God being, person, an anthropomorphic God outside of us saying, I give you grace, but not you. I give you grace, I punish you with this, but I'll give you a pass on that, right? I invite us all to once and for all reject that thinking, that there is nothing outside of us that punishes or rewards us. We do a fine job of that all on our own, yes? Yes. So no judging, punishing God, waiting to reward some and punish others. Grace is pure, unconditional, unadulterated divine love, which is infinite and always active in our lives. And when we realize that, because that's also a key, because grace is always present, but we don't always know it, right? When we realize the power of grace and the infinite activity of grace in our lives, we get to receive the comfort. We get to receive the upliftment from knowing amazing grace. So we're always swimming in divine love. Divine love never sees anything wrong with us. And when we realize that, we are released from our trance of unworthiness. Not going to ask for a show of hands, but I'll tell you what. Every single one of us in here has felt or does feel unworthy in some capacity. We are called to be released from that trance, knowing that nothing we have done or nothing that we think separates us from love and from grace in our lives. The 19th century Hindu mystic Ramakrishna said this much more poetically. He wrote, "The winds of grace are blowing all the time. All we have to do is raise our sails." Think about that for a moment. Close your eyes for a minute, if you will. And think about that. Just think above our heads. The winds of grace are blowing gently. And I invite you to imagine that you are raising a sail into those winds of grace. And feel the upliftment of just that small vision. The moment we realize that grace is always here, we experience it at a deeper level. I know for me, when I look for grace, when I look for the blessing, I always discover it. I always discover it. So grace can be a realization. It could be an insight that frees our thinking. It could be another person allowing us a fresh start, not holding our actions against us. Think about what that might feel to a person that you've been holding in resentment or anger. Think about what it's like to release that person and bestow upon them amazing grace. People clean up our messes all the time, right? Whether it's an actual physical mess, whether it's an emotional mess, whatever it is, that's grace. Grace is when someone decides that you are more than a mistake that you have made. Not to hold somebody in the same cement shoes that I put on them when they made that mistake. Releasing them from that is grace. You know, the lesson of grace is that we are loved despite our flaws, and sometimes because of them. People love us. Even when we make mistakes, we are loved. In my life, there have been many, many, many moments when I have been blessed by grace. I once made a mistake when I was driving that could have been catastrophic. I was running, I've told this story once before, years ago. I was in my car, and I came up to a stop. This was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I came up to the stop sign that was outside my right at the entrance to my development, my neighborhood. And the sun was shining, the sun was setting, and it was in my eyes. And there was a UPS truck in the opposite, going from the street facing me at another stop sign. So I was concentrating on this UPS, wondering, because I said glare was blinding, and so I was paying attention to him, and he wasn't going anywhere. So I began to make my left turn slowly, and in a split second, this far away from my bumper was a woman running for her life with a twin stroller. Stopped right before I hit her, and she was literally running for her life and for her baby's lives. So you can imagine, just think for a moment. So I rolled down the window, and she's yelling, screaming, What are you, crazy? You could have killed her. I mean, just, and then I'm blubbering and apologizing and horrified, and she just runs off. She just keeps running, runs off. As horrible as that situation was, I was blessed by grace. Saw her at the last possible second and avoided what could have been a horrible tragedy. Amazing grace. That's a whole nother longer story, but I'm not going to go there, about how I moved through that, which was also grace. So, grace comes in unexpected moments of beauty, doesn't it? When we might be feeling some emotional turmoil in our lives, and all of a sudden we look up and we see the vast sky, and we become in awe of the universe. We have these moments of beauty when we go to the ocean and look at the vastness of the ocean. We get stopped in our tracks by a flower or an insect when we have those moments of sweet grace. And in my life, and probably in yours, there have been moments when people have been so loving, so compassionate, so wise, that I knew in that moment I was being blessed by grace. Right? We've all had those feelings, yes? Yeah. Beloved Unity minister and author Eric Butterworth said it beautifully. Grace is that which works beyond and in addition to spiritual law. It doesn't break the law, but rather it fulfills it in terms of sustaining us in spite of ourselves. Right? Isn't it a wonderful thing, he goes on, to know that even if we do frustrate the flow of life in us, divine love is so great and the divine desire or creative will so intense in us that it will always transcend even our limited thoughts. It is true, he says, that as man thinketh, so is he, and as ye sow, so do you reap. Yet, divine desire in you is to express perfectly. And he says you can never reap the harvest of error, and you can never completely reap the harvest of error, and you always reap more than you sow of good. That, quite simply, is grace. It's like being in a house with all the doors and windows tightly shut, yet enough fresh air seeps in to meet our need for oxygen. I want to tell you a story about Mary and her husband Jim and their dog Lucky. Story goes, Lucky was a real character. Whenever Mary and Jim had company come for a weekend visit, they would warn their friends not to leave their luggage open, because Lucky would help himself to whatever struck his fancy. Inevitably, someone would forget and something would come up missing. Mary or Jim would go to Lucky's toy box in the basement, and there the treasure would be, amidst all of Lucky's other favorite toys. Lucky always stashed his finds in the toy box, and he was very particular that his toys stay in the box. So it comes to pass that Mary finds out that she has breast cancer. And she thought she was going to die of this disease. In fact, she was sure it was fatal. So she scheduled her surgery, a double mastectomy, in total fear. And the night before surgery, she was cuddling with her dog Lucky, and a thought struck her, what would happen to Lucky when I'm gone? Well, I know Jim's here, but Lucky's only 3 years old, and he's really my dog. You know how that happens in your lives if you're with a partner and you have, oh, I know. Yeah, it is. So I know some of you know what that's like. So he was Mary's dog through and through. And she thought, if I die, Lucky will feel abandoned. He won't understand that I didn't want to leave, and the thought made her sadder than thinking of her own death. So Mary had the surgery, and she was hospitalized for over 2 weeks. And Jim took Lucky for his evening walk faithfully, but the dog was just miserable, whining and droopy and very unhappy that Mary wasn't around. And finally, the day came that Mary left the hospital. And when she arrived home, she was so exhausted she didn't even make it up the steps to her bedroom. So Jim put her on the couch, made her comfortable, and left her to sleep. Now, what Lucky was doing at this point is he just stood watching Mary. He didn't come to her when she called, and it made Mary very sad. But she was so exhausted she fell asleep, and she dozed. And when she woke up, something was wrong, and she couldn't figure out what was wrong. She couldn't move her head, and her body felt heavy and hot. But panic soon gave way to laughter as she realized what the problem was. She was covered, literally blanketed, with every treasure Lucky owned. He had gone into the basement and took out all of his toys and piled them all on Mary. Trip after trip to the basement to give her everything that he treasured. He had covered her with his love. Mary forgot about dying at that point. Instead, she and Lucky began living again. She began walking and walking further and further every day. It's been over a decade, and Mary is still cancer-free. And Lucky still steals things and puts them in his box. But the story ends with that Mary remains his greatest treasure. Grace is always with us. Grace is always there. My beloved Unity family, I invite you to grab onto grace, to raise your sails and feel and know the activity of grace and blessing in your lives. Grace doesn't require us to be anything more than what we are right now. So please know this. You're swimming in an ocean of grace. It covers you, envelops you as a blanket of love, of wholeness, of joy, and of peace. And I claim this truth for each and every one of us. And now it's time for our blessing, our offering blessing. For you all online, there is the way, here are the ways that you can give to Unity of Stuart to further the work that we all do here. I just want to make that really clear. It's not just work that I do. It's not just work that Ricky does, or John, or Linda, or our music team, or Ray. It's not just there. It's our work that we do together that your love offerings support. So, standing on this foundation of community, let us circulate our tithes, our love offerings, knowing that it makes an impact. Supporting the spiritual community makes an impact in the world. So thank you. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you to consistent givers. I hope you all feel the impact that you make in the world as we bless our offerings. Together, in a universe overflowing with the allness of God, all of the needs of Unity of Stuart and those we serve are instantly, constantly, and bountifully met. From every direction, known and unknown, expected and unexpected, our abundant good comes to us now, and we are grateful. Amen. And our love offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give and receive always in love. Let's sing about it.
We all give our gratitude and give thanks for the multitude of blessings given every day that help us all along the way. We give thanks
Here's our second set of announcements. We are in the midst of a fundraiser for upgrading our parking lot lighting. So if you'd like to donate to that above and beyond your regular giving, I invite you to designate your gift to lighting. Thank you very much and for helping us shine the light. So upcoming on September 14th and the 21st on 2 Wednesday nights, I will be facilitating a Living in Unity class. If you're curious about Unity and or you would like to become a voting member, it's not necessary for you to become a voting member if you're in this class. I invite you to join me. There's a sign-up sheet out on the information table. This will be a hybrid class, I think. So I have 2 people signed up. One wants Zoom and one wants in person. So I'm going to do it either way, but it'll be on Zoom probably. I don't know if the person is in the room that has signed up for in person. No. But come and join us. It's a really good way, certainly if you're new to Unity, and certainly if you've been here for a while and you're not understanding some of the terminology or some of the principle, please sign up and join me probably on Zoom at this point. I think that's it about that. Our legacy program, I mentioned about the brochure and the seat backs and about the BRIC program. If you'd like to know more about our legacy program, please take a look at that. And I think I'm going to wait for the other announcements until our kiddos come in, but they are not out there yet. So, to fill dead air, I'll remind you once again about the Connected Souls concert on September 28th. And I also want to mention, I know most of all y'all saw Doreen last week. She was gone for a month, was back a week, and now she's away this week. Then next week she'll be back and we'll have a full complement here. And then the following week, both Don and Doreen will be gone to a music conference at Unity Village. Let's stand and sing the kids in. Please be seated, if you will. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Anybody have anything they'd like to share? Seda.
Hi, I'm Seda. So today we did an activity that we did a lot when I was younger. Miss Jen's my mom. So it's an activity called Pour from your pitcher what you want in your cup.
Wait. Say that again a little slower.
Pour from your pitcher what you want in your cup. Basically saying that what you give, you receive.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Seda. Nice. Anybody else? No? Anastasia.
It's Seda's birthday coming up.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be singing in a moment. When's your birthday? Mine's Tuesday. All right. Jen, what do you got? We got that.
Yes. So as always, if working with youth is in your heart, come and see me. Let's talk about how you can bless our children. I'm always available and open to new blessings.
And how you can be blessed.
Yeah.
Say that out loud.
Now you can be blessed.
All right, next.
So, September 18th, potato bar.
Yay.
Yum.
That's a good
This
one.
is always a huge hit. So it's like a salad bar, but carbs.
Yay! Yay for carbs.
Yay. So there'll be it's a baked potato with all sorts of toppings hosted by the youth. This is a fundraiser that goes directly to sending our youth to their retreats and rallies, which is a spiritual event for the youth of Unity, and they love it. It's a lot of fun.
So imagine if you were a Unity kid and you went to school with a bunch of traditional kiddos that had no idea what Unity was. And then, so you don't really find your group there, right? So imagine going to a retreat when there's 100 other kids that believe and have been taught what you believe and taught, and how uplifting, and connecting that is. That's what these retreats and rallies do for our
Awesome.
kiddos. So thank you in advance
Yes.
for supporting them and ongoing.
Yeah.
All right. So this is something I think you heard about last week, maybe for the first time. And so this is something that has been on our radar to do for the last couple of years, and we are doing it this year. These are bed races to benefit Family Promise, who helps homeless families get back on their feet, offers lodging and food and a place to gather for in community and to get on computers, and it's a transition from homelessness to housing. So we are a support ministry for Family Promise. Roberta is our captain of our outreach for Family Promise here, and we are inviting you to join our youth who is taking this on as we make a unity bed to be in the races. And that race, is it say up there? October 22nd. You can see Roberta, actually, if you have any questions about it, and you can sign up on the information table if you'd like to help in building a bed, and of course show up on October 22nd, which is right across the street at the Methodist Church, right? Right across Canner. And the other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is that in order to be in this bed race, the church needs to pay an entry fee. And however, if we get one corporate sponsor or one business sponsor for $1,000, we will get our name on the brochure. We won't have to pay the registration fee. Or we can get 2 sponsorships of $500 each. So if you know of any company, if you have a company, and you'd like to support Family Promise, the money all goes to Family Promise. If you'd like to help us support Family Promise, please see Roberta if you'd like to donate. So we're not going to take
Tax deduction.
It's tax deduction. We're not going to take small, right? We're not going to take small donations for that, or no. So we really want somebody who has a company who can really step up, do that. So if you have that, please talk to Roberta. Oh, we could also use a twin bed frame. So if anybody has a twin bed frame hanging out in their garage, let Roberta know, and she'll be a light one. Yeah, light one. She'll be happy to put it to use. All right, I'm going to invite. Can I have that? Thank you. I'm going to invite Linda up. She wants to talk to you a little bit.
Well, it is the first Sunday of the month. Is this on?
Thank you.
It is the first Sunday of the month, so it is birthday Sunday, but it is, we already heard, that is special birthday for Reverend Jude.
It's my Medicare birthday.
So we do have some cake out there in the to eat after service. If you'd like to go in, we have some cake for that. And we'll actually sing for anybody that has a birthday this month. And right now, we will be singing to those folks in the room that have a birthday in September. Do want to let you know, too, that Reverend Jude has created a fundraiser on Facebook if you want to give to the church in
Help
Reverend
me
Jude's.
celebrate my birthday.
But it's really going to the church. But if you would like to do that, that's on Facebook as well. But right now, how about if we have everybody that has a birthday in September, please stand. And we're going to sing for you. And
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
Hi, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, there's the birthday slide. And so I have family members on that slide. I have my son-in-law, Eric Rutford, his birthday is tomorrow. And my granddaughter, Jocelyn Questelite, her birthday is the 19th. And so, and there you see. Carol's daughter is the 28th. Yay to September birthday.
My little brother's birthday is on Monday.
All right, we got September babies in
My
there.
granddaughter's is the 25th.
All right. Let's keep calling it out. All right, let us stand as we bless our kiddos.
We love you. We bless you. We truly, truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you.
remain standing, let us close with the prayer for protection and the peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine. And let's sing.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Before we go, let us affirm one more time together. I swim in an ocean of grace. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.